Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Rausen Pereira on Rajya Sabha Television. And before we begin with the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV would like to make an appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and also wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you are stepping outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now, the headlines. Government committed to providing affordable and quality healthcare to all. Prime Minister Modi discusses budgetary provisions for healthcare, says global demand for Indian doctors will increase in the future. Develop technology to address 21st century challenges. Prime Minister Modi addresses IIT Kharagpur students, urges them to innovate to bring positive change. Vice President releases postal stamp in memory of social worker and former MLA Ishwari Bai, calls for ending low representation to women in legislatures, appeals to people to elect representatives on the basis of 4 C's: character, conduct, caliber and capacity. Terrorism, biggest threat to human rights. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar tells UNHRC meeting underscores need for nations to improve multilateral institutions and systems, avoid interference in internal affairs and national sovereignty of others. COVID vaccinations cross 1 crore 19 lakh in India. Over 13 lakh 21,000 health workers get second dose. Maharashtra, Kerala and Telangana report new variants of the virus. The government is focusing on a coordinated effort to create robust health infrastructure in the country. Addressing a webinar on the effective implementation of the union budget's provisions in the health sector, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the government is taking a holistic approach to healthcare and is also focused on wellness. Here's more.
The government is working on 4 fronts to keep India healthy. According to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, prevention of illness and promotion of wellness, healthcare for all, increase in quality and quantity of healthcare infrastructure and professionals are the focus areas for the government. He added that the phenomenal budget allocation for the sector this year shows the government's commitment towards providing better healthcare to every citizen.
बीता वर्ष एक तरह से देश के लिए, दुनिया के लिए, पूरी मानव जात के लिए और खास करके हेल्थ सेक्टर के लिए एक प्रकार से अग्नि परीक्षा की तरह रहा था। अनेकों की जिंदगी बचाने में हम कामयाब रहे हैं। कुछ महीनों के भीतर ही जिस तरह देश ने करीब 2,500 लैब्स का नेटवर्क खड़ा किया, कुछ दर्जन टेस्ट से हम आज करीब 21 करोड़ टेस्ट के पड़ाव तक पहुंच पाए। ये सब सरकार और प्राइवेट सेक्टर के साथ मिलकर काम करने से ही संभव हुआ है।
The government has created a robust health infrastructure within a short span of time during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister said the time has come to take healthcare access and affordability to the next level.
कोरोना ने हमें ये सबक दिया है कि हमें सिर्फ आज ही महामारी से नहीं लड़ना है, बल्कि भविष्य में आने वाली ऐसी किसी भी स्थिति के लिए भी देश को तैयार करना है। मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट से लेकर मेडिसिन तक, वेंटिलेटर से लेकर वैक्सीन तक, साइंटिफिक रिसर्च से लेकर के सर्वेलेंस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तक, डॉक्टर से लेकर के एपिडेमियोलॉजिस्ट तक, हमें सभी पर ध्यान देना है।
Referring to the PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, Prime Minister Modi said it will create a robust health ecosystem by focusing on research, testing and treatment.
हमें ये सुनिश्चित करना है कि देश के लोग, चाहे वो गरीब से गरीब हो, चाहे वो सुदूर इलाकों में रहते हो, उन्हें बेस्ट पॉसिबल ट्रीटमेंट मिले और समय पर मिले।
Prime Minister Modi said the world has noted the Indian health sector's strength during the pandemic. He asserted that India has set a target to eliminate TB by 2025. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, addressing the 66th convocation of IIT Kharagpur through a video conference, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the students to work towards creating startups and innovating things that can change the lives of crores of people in the country. The Prime Minister asked the students to adopt the mantra of self-awareness, self-confidence and selflessness to overcome self-doubts and obstacles. He lauded the efforts of IIT Kharagpur to transform academic research related to AI at industrial level, Internet of Things and modern construction technologies.
आप कितने जीवन में बदलाव ला सकते हैं, कितने जीवन बचा सकते हैं, देश के संसाधनों को बचा सकते हैं, अगर आप पैटर्न को समझें और उसे समझकर समाधान निकालें। और इस बात की भी पूरी संभावना है कि भविष्य में यही समाधान आपको कॉमर्शियल सक्सेस भी दें। हमारी आईआईटीज जितना ज्यादा भारत की चुनौतियों को दूर करने के लिए रिसर्च करेगी, भारत के लिए समाधान तैयार करेगी, उतना ही वो ग्लोबल एप्लीकेशन का भी माध्यम बनेगी। हमारी इतनी बड़ी जनसंख्या के बीच आपको जो एक्सपेरिमेंट सफल होकर निकालेगा, वो दुनिया में कहीं पर भी असफल नहीं होगा। नया इकोसिस्टम हमारे स्टार्टअप्स की दुनिया में, नया इकोसिस्टम हमारे इनोवेशन रिसर्च की दुनिया में, नया इकोसिस्टम हमारे कॉरपोरेट वर्ल्ड में और नया इकोसिस्टम देश की प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था में। इस कैंपस से निकलकर आपको सिर्फ अपना नया जीवन ही स्टार्ट नहीं करना है, बल्कि आपको देश के करोड़ों लोगों के जीवन में बदलाव लाने वाले स्वयं में एक स्टार्टअप भी बनना है।
Moving on to some other news now, President Ramnath Kovind has said that educational institutions should try to make students capable citizens of the modern world community. He was addressing the third convocation of the Central University of Gujarat at Gandhinagar on Tuesday. The President said that under the new national education policy, efforts are being made to encourage education of modern knowledge science based on Indian values. Addressing the students, the President said that building a strong and self-reliant India is at the heart of our global thinking. The President happily noted that about 55% of the students getting education in the Central University of Gujarat are girls.
आप सब भी ये जानकर आनंदित होंगे, निर्भर भारत का निर्माण हमारी वैश्विक सोच के केंद्र में है। आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए स्थानीय संसाधनों, अनुभवों एवं ज्ञान का उपयोग किया जाना चाहिए। स्थानीय संसाधनों का उपयोग करते हुए रिसर्च तथा इनोवेशन के माध्यम से स्थानीय विकास को बल प्रदान करके आप सभी प्राध्यापक और विद्यार्थीगण अपनी शिक्षा को सही अर्थों में उपयोगी बना सकते हैं। हमें इस बात पर सदैव ध्यान देना है कि हमारी शिक्षा का लाभ हमारे व्यक्तिगत विकास के साथ साथ समाज और देश को भी मिले।
Well, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Tuesday urged all political parties to adopt a consensual approach on matters of national importance. Releasing a postal stamp brought out in the memory of Ishwari Bai, social reformer and a former MLA, the Vice President paid rich tributes to her. Expressing anguish over increasing disruptions in Parliament and legislatures, he said the mantra for a healthy democracy is to discuss, debate and decide and not disrupt.
I am pained to say that over the past few years, there has been a decline in the values, there has been decline in public life, and we are also seeing frequent disruptions, obstruction, disruption are becoming the order of the day. Construction, positive thinking, positive criticism, constructive opposition, constructive criticism, and also following certain ideas, they are the need of the hour.
Well, the Vice President appealed to the people to elect their representatives on the basis of 4 C's: character, conduct, caliber, and capacity.
We in public life and also people at large, we must encourage leaders with character, caliber, capacity, and conduct. 4 C's: character, caliber, capacity, and conduct. They are very important. Unfortunately, the other 4 C's, caste, criminality, and community, is trying to hold politics hostage to vicious interests and needs to be completely eliminated to make Indian democracy flourish.
Pointing out that reservations for women in the local bodies have politically empowered lakhs of women in the country, he said introducing reservation for women in parliament and legislatures needs urgent attention and consensus of all political parties.
Women, who constitute 50% of the population, they are also given due importance in public life, including in politics. We have seen giving representation to women in municipal bodies, in Panchayat Raj, has empowered them. The similar thing should be done in legislature and parliament at the earliest. We have been discussing for long about providing reservation to women in legislature and parliament. The political parties at the national level and the state level must evolve a consensus and at the earliest go for the women's representation.
Well, the Defence Acquisition Council has approved capital acquisition proposals for an overall cost of 13,700 crore rupees. These include various weapons, platforms, equipments required by the 3 armed forces and accorded 3 acceptance of necessities. All these acquisition proposals will be indigenously designed, developed and manufactured. These will include inter alia platforms and systems designed and developed by Defence Research and Development Organization. The DAC also approved that all capital acquisition contracts other than D&D cases shall be concluded in 2 years. Moving on now, ahead of the assembly elections, the Tamil Nadu government presented an interim budget for the year 2021-22 in the State Assembly on Tuesday, the opening day of the budget session. Deputy Chief Minister and Finance Minister O. Pannirselvam presented the interim budget amid a boycott by the DMK and its allies. The budget projected a positive growth rate of 2.02% in 2020 and 2021 as it expressed hopes of the economy rebounding due to various sustainable policy decisions of the government. O. Pannirselvam stated that a total of 13,352 crore rupees had been spent by the state government on COVID-19 relief operations in Tamil Nadu since March 2020. Well, the BJP is set to retain power in the 6 Gujarat municipal corporations. Till late evening as the counting continued, the BJP had won 449 seats, the Congress 44 and the Aam Aadmi Party bagged 19 seats. BSP won 3 seats while 1 seat went to the independent candidate. Polling for 576 seats in Ahmedabad, Surat and 5 other civic corporations was held on February 21st. The counting of votes began on Tuesday morning and is still underway. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani and Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel had expressed their gratitude to the voters and BJP workers for the results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi termed the victory very special. He thanked the people of the state for their unwavering faith towards politics of development and good governance. He also hailed the efforts of Gujarat BJP workers who reached out to people and elaborated on the party's vision for the state.
देश भर में किसान आंदोलन, कोरोना, कई प्रकार की भ्रांतियां विपक्ष ने खड़ी करने का प्रयास किया था और हर भ्रांति को तोड़ते हुए एक के बाद एक नतीजे आए हैं। मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में सर्व प्रकार से एक संपूर्ण विजय गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिली है। विजय भाई, नितिन भाई और हमारे पार्टी के अध्यक्ष श्री CR पाटिल, इनकी पूरी टीम को मैं हृदय से बधाई देना चाहता हूं।
And let's now get you an update on the latest as far as COVID-19 is concerned. Well, the cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered to healthcare and frontline workers has crossed 1.19 crore today in the country. According to the Health Ministry, over 64 lakh health workers have been taken the first dose of the vaccine, while 13 lakh health workers have been administered both doses. More than 41 lakh frontline workers have also been given the vaccine shot.
टोटल वैक्सीनेशन 1,17,54,788 हैं। इसमें 68% हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स को पहली डोज दी जा चुकी है और 62% हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स को दूसरी डोज दी जा चुकी है।
Meanwhile, the government on Tuesday confirmed the emergence of two variants of SARS-CoV-2, that is N440K and E484K, detected in Maharashtra and Kerala, but said there is no reason to believe presently that they are responsible for the surge in cases in some districts in these two states. The development comes after government data showed that there are around 1.47 lakh active coronavirus cases in the country. States reported 10,584 new infections and 78 new deaths on Tuesday.
(187) individuals had the presence of UK strain. थोड़ा पिछली बारी जो इन्फॉर्मेशन थी उसको हम रिफाइन कर रहे हैं। 187 इज द नंबर टुडे। 6 लोगों में साउथ अफ्रीकन वेरिएंट पाया गया आज तक और एक व्यक्ति में ब्राजीलियन स्ट्रेन को पाया गया।
Meanwhile, in other news now, a Sessions Court in Delhi on Tuesday granted bail to activist Disha Ravi, who was arrested in connection with a toolkit on the farmers' protest. The court granted bail on furnishing a bail bond of 1 lakh rupees with 2 sureties in like amount, noting that the accused had absolutely no criminal antecedents. The police had sought a further 4 days of custody. Meanwhile, a Delhi court has sent Deep Sidhu, arrested in connection with the Red Fort violence on Republic Day, to 14 days of judicial custody. He was arrested for his involvement during the clashes on January 26th in the Farmers' Tractor Parade. Well, a CBI team on Tuesday questioned Rujira Banerjee, the wife of Trinamool Congress MP Abhishek Banerjee, in connection with the alleged coal smuggling case. She was questioned for around an hour. The questioning began soon after Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee visited the house of Abhishek Banerjee. The agency sought the examination of Rujira Banerjee to ascertain the details of her bank transactions. The CBI had served a notice to Rujira Banerjee on Sunday and Abhishek's sister-in-law, Menaka Gambhir, in connection with the case. Some international news now, where External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Tuesday said that terrorism is one of the gravest threats to humankind. He added that action against terrorism is only possible when it is understood that terrorism can never be justified, nor equating its perpetrators with victims. The Foreign Affairs Minister also said that India has championed the global fight against terrorism, having faced it as a long-standing victim. He also said that India's approach to the UNHRC is guided by spirit of engagement, dialogue and consultation. Jaishankar was addressing the high-level segment of the 46th session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva.
Human rights agenda continues to face severe challenges, most of all from terrorism. The perennial concerns remain equally strong. be it global inequities or armed conflicts. Terrorism continues to be one of the gravest threats to humankind. It is a crime against humanity and violates the most fundamental human right, namely the right to life. As a long-standing victim, India has been in the forefront of the global action against terrorism. This is possible only when there is a clear realization, including in bodies dealing with human rights, that terrorism can never be justified, nor its perpetrators ever equated with its victims.
India and Mauritius have signed a comprehensive economic cooperation and partnership agreement. This is the first trade agreement signed by India with a country in Africa. The agreement is a limited agreement which will cover trade in goods, rules of origin, trade in services, technical barriers to trade, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, dispute settlement, movement of natural persons, telecom, financial services, customs procedures and cooperation in other areas. Commerce Secretary Dr. Anup Wadhwan and Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Mauritius, Mr. Dulam, signed the agreement in Port Louis on Monday. Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Jugnauth, and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar were also present on the occasion. Well, Nepal's Supreme Court reinstated the dissolved House of Representatives on Tuesday. A 5-member constitutional bench led by Chief Justice Cholendra Shumsher JBR annulled the government's decision to dissolve the 275-member lower house of parliament. It also ordered the government to summon the House session within the next 13 days. Nepal had plunged into a political crisis on December 20th after President Bidya Dev Bhandari dissolved the House of Representatives at the recommendation of Prime Minister Oli amidst a tussle for power within the ruling party. The opposition had filed petitions at the apex court seeking the restoration of the lower house of parliament. Well, at least 6 people have been killed in a stone quarry blast in a village in Chikballapur in Karnataka in the early hours of Tuesday. The state government has ordered a CID probe into the blast. The blast occurred when the gelatin sticks exploded accidentally as the workers tried to dispose of them. Expressing shock over the incident, Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa said that he has ordered a thorough investigation into the case and directed the officials to take stringent action against the guilty. The quarry was operating illegally after police closed it on February 7th, following complaints from the locals against rampant use of gelatin sticks. The incident comes soon after a similar blast at a quarry site in Shivamogga on January 22nd, which left 6 dead. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has expressed anguish at the loss of lives in the tragic incident and prayed for the speedy recovery of the injured. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed condolences to the bereaved families. Well, 6 members of a family died when a car in which they were travelling collided head-on with a truck on Kosi Bridge on NH31 in Katihar district of Bihar on Tuesday. 3 people were injured in the accident. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed condolences to the families of those who lost their lives in the incident. Meanwhile, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar too in a tweet paid condolences and offered all assistance to the bereaved family. He instructed the district administration for proper treatment of all those injured in the incident. Well, the members of the indigenous Kodava tribe of Karnataka have demanded that their language, Kodava Tak, should be included in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. The Kodava National Council made its request in a letter to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah and Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa on the International Mother Tongue Day. They also said that the Kodava Tak should also be considered as one of the languages of UNO. In the letter, they also demanded that the indigenous Kodava warrior tribe should be recognized as the primitive tribe of Kodava territory, and Kodava tribe should be included in the ST list of the Constitution. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this newscast. But before we leave, let us remind you once again to stay safe from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to wear a mask, a face mask, and wash your hands and face regularly. And ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you are stepping outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.